Welcome to the auditory counterattack. Welcome to the RazörForce offensive. I am your intrepid host, Razorfist Emeritus the 11th, alongside the lead-slinging legionnaire, Tactical Hobo. He's muted. What's up?
Hello.
Hello, sir. And we are joined by Mr. Alexander the Mid, Terengel. Hello, sir.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the offensive.
Indeed! And if there was one theme of the entire week, it is the title of today's offensive. Wouldn't you agree, gentlemen? The left have learned absolutely nothing. Their tactics are now being applied to them. They don't know how to react. Some of them are pushing for there to be laws that restore free speech. Oh, drat. I hope those don't succeed. Geez, I hope I don't wind up getting exactly what I fucking wanted to begin with. But apparently that's the direction we're going. The other, of course, is just to piss, whine, fill their diaper, and smear the contents all over every available wall and surface. What have you guys observed this week as far as the left reacting to the fallout of the Charlie Kirk stuff? We've taken a hard right turn societally, and they are just melting down. Would you agree?
Yeah, you know, as far as the title here, the left have learned nothing. I think we've been saying that a lot over the last decade now, haven't we? There's been a lot of that theme. And they just keep doubling down, tripling, quadrupling.
Quintupling, dude. Quintupling. We saw, first off, the story, of course, just came out in the last 24 hours about Jimmy Kimmel. We will certainly get to that, but I think there's a more pertinent matter, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a more concrete matter. It deals with, if you saw our stream in the immediate aftermath of the tragic events last Wednesday, you know that I was up on my soapbox talking about this all night. We needed to declare Antifa, at a bare minimum, a domestic terrorist group. It was like, gosh, when people immediately asked, what do we do to respond to this? What was my response all night, gentlemen? Declare Antifa a terror group, because I guarantee you're going to see their fingerprints on it. By the way, we're already seeing their fingerprints on it. We're going to get into some of that research here tonight, because people have been doing some incredible legwork on that. So you're going to find, if you haven't been paying attention to this, the funding apparatus behind what we witnessed with the Charlie Kirk tragedy a week ago is beginning to bear fruit, and we're seeing some interesting revelations on the funding side. Whenever you follow the money, man, it always gets dirty. But folks, Antifa officially declared a terrorist group. Why don't you read that out? Actually, why don't I read that out in my Trump voice? I am pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I am designating Antifa a sick, dangerous, radical left disaster as a major terrorist organization. I will also be strongly recommending that those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. Believe me. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Folks, it finally happened. Tara, I want your immediate reaction to this. When you heard this, how hard was your erection?
Well, I gotta call someone to fix my ceiling.
My boner was so turgid, I was knocking low-flying traffic helicopters out of orbit. But yes, so what exactly were you thinking as soon as this happened?
Why not sooner? Why not immediately, like day one? This was needed so long ago. They've gotten away with so much. And
the answer, of course, to that query is, as we all know, it's William Barr. William Barr was prevailed upon by Trump to designate Antifa a domestic terrorist organization during Trump's first term. And William Barr dragged his feet like a troglodyte and did not get it done. He was just, he was slow walking it. Let's just be real. William Barr was an obstructionist, one of many that was embedded within the Trump administration. That's still Trump's fault, by the way. He picked the guy. He shouldn't have. And he trusted the guy, from what I understand, for a while there. And to be fair, to Trump on this. You guys remember William Barr would throw the right a bone every now and then. He would go after some soft target and you'd be like, it seems like William Barr maybe is starting to get it a little bit, but it was all just, it was kind of like Uncle Festerman over there in Pennsylvania, how, he'll vote left, he'll vote party line every single congressional session, but then he'll throw some bone to the right. Oh, I think the left should probably stop being crazy and shooting people. Wow. Brilliant, penetrating insight there, Uncle Festerman. And people simp for him. It works, right? This is classic, like, Pavlovian psychology. It drives me absolutely crazy. But, gosh, Hobo, dude, we were talking about William Barr and the problems with him on the earliest editions of The Offensive, were we not?
We were, yes. And I know a lot of people thought he was pretty based, but, he's got deep state connections for sure. So,
yep. And
he always votes with his party. He's not a moderate. He's not center left. He's
talking about Fetterman here, guys. He's talking about Fetterman, not Barr. But Barr was a problem.
Oh.
I don't know about you guys, but I think we are reaching levels of getting what we voted for, previously undespoiled by mankind. Am I right? Am I right here, folks? Granted, I don't think that we needed the sky to be declared blue to know that it is, but it's a domestic terror group. It has been. Antifa, for the record, has foreign origins, for the most part, foreign funding. Yes, there's some domestic terror funding for Antifa. It's interesting. I've seen some tweets and even some documentaries of people who infiltrated chapters of Antifa, and the funding apparatus and the organizational structure of it. Absolutely fascinating. But it is definitely foreign funded at a minimum, which is one of the reasons it should not be considered, quashing domestic dissent or politics or anything like that. This is something that does need to be. But of course, some people are already doing the digging on Antifa's funding and turning up all kinds of interesting connections to Soros, to China, to a whole spider's web of networks. Do you have that, Taryn? Could you pop that up for us? I think we just lost Hobo.
I think he just stepped back for a moment. I think I heard a train in the background.
Yes. He's actually, like, he's got a funky connection deal right now. But go ahead and pop that up real quick. That story about the research into the funding of Antifa, my man, because this was wild. I want to break this down.
Glenn Beck
did talk about this. The real research was by, and I want to give him credit. Let's make sure we give, what is it? Data Republican on Twitter, @DataRepublican. And some fascinating research on this. Here we go. Go ahead and play that for us.
Absolutely, and I will.
So this is, I think, the Soros portion of these revelations.
According to George Soros's own files from his Open Society Foundations. So myself, my colleagues at Capital Research Center, basically went through as many grants of his, as many funding streams as we could find. And here's the smoking guns that we believe that President Trump, if he's informed of it, can use to go after Soros's network of hate in various ways. We traced over $80 million going from the Open Society Foundations to at least 54 groups engaged in crime and domestic terrorism on U.S. soil, or that are pro-terrorism, endorsing things like the October 7th attacks, or are associated with foreign terrorist organizations or explicitly pro-terror groups. And this is according to his own file, so it's rock solid. And over all of that amount, over 23 million went to at least 7 groups that are doing things that meet the FBI's definition of domestic terrorism, including rioting and things like that.
Can you be specific, more specific than this?
Absolutely. I'm happy to. So the Center for Third World Organizing, for example, is an organization that has a hub that fused together several really extreme organizations. We found $400,000 going to them, and they openly boast of the fact that they threw down during the uprisings in Minnesota, obviously referring to the rioting and boasting of how many thousands of people
cow.
they help train. A lot of these groups have created what they'll call like a protest guide or an activism toolkit, and it sounds innocuous. Then you open it up and you'll see support for Hamas in it, but then they'll sometimes slyly say, for more information, go to these hyperlinks. And you go to the hyperlinks, and there'll be guides recommending things like property destruction, violence, false IDs, how to obstruct justice, all of these things. And they know darn well what they're doing. They don't put that there by accident. Some of the more careful ones will just direct their readership to anarchist websites with all that material, knowing that they'll see it when it's there.
Anarchist.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's really stunning. And some of these groups are coalitions. So when I say 54 groups, just one of those might have 300 entities in that one. So it's actually, the real number is actually much higher.
Interesting. And that's the more innocuous revelations. I actually don't know if I sent you this link. Let me go ahead and bring it up myself. I'll zoom in on this so it's...
While you're doing that, I'll just comment and say,
what's up?
It's fairly obvious that, I mean, this was going on for a while. This is just confirmation of what we've always known.
Yep. So Data Republican did some digging of his own and revealed connections between trans organizations, other NGOs, and Cuban extremist groups, which should not surprise you, because what were we talking about with that billionaire? That guy turned out to be from Cuba, who was sponsoring a lot of the Antifa rioting and a lot of the Summer of Love stuff, leading me to suspect that USAID and USAGM funds totaling over $40 million from 2016 to 2025 may have supported some of these activities. Buzzwords: advancing human rights, provide TV and radio segments, humanitarian assistance, and more. And this is these are your smoking guns here, right there. Grupo de Apoyo a la Democracia. These would be the humanitarian Cuban organizations. This is wild, and of course, this watermark is one of the guy who did this research, or is posting it at least. The research was done by Data Republican. The Bacardi, wow, the Bacardi Family Foundation. This is, there needs to be so much more of this, guys. Whenever I see this, I'm always so impressed. You guys remember when I did that quick rundown of the DEI fund that was founded in the wake of the suicide of that game developer guy who was accused of sexually assaulting someone, and then the DEI fund wound up being funded by communist China, and all of that came back around to funding a bunch of super woke video game projects, right? It's when you pull on the string, and more people need to pull on the string. Anyone can do this, like opensecrets.org. You can go there. You can do advanced search like this. This is not that difficult of research to do. If you want to know what is really going on, like, this is how you do it. This is 100% how you do it. What are your thoughts on that, man? Like the funding, connecting Antifa to all of these groups.
It's not surprising. Like I said earlier, we've always known about this going on.
Yeah.
George, remember, it started out as a conspiracy theory. Oh, George Soros. It pretty much an Alex Jones thing. George Soros is funding all of this crap happening and buying off judges and senators. And now we're just getting the proof because we're actually able to look now.
Yep. Because
Trump got out all of those people who were obstructing it. And now we're actually able to get the paperwork.
Yeah, isn't it wild how to kick off this avalanche of accountability, let's be honest, that's what it is, right? People are calling it cancel culture. It's accountability culture. All we had to do was just check some receipts. Isn't that wild? Look at USAID. Look at everything that fell into place after we just reneged a few checks in USAID. Just fumigated that government program. How much stuff, how many newspapers are falling apart, how many late night hosts are getting fired. Shoot, that's a great transition, actually. Do you have the Jimmy Kimmel story? Everybody's probably heard this one, folks.
Oh,
Jimmy Kimmel, that U.S. aid funding apparently isn't rolling into Disney and ABC like it used to be. So
what a crying shame.
Yes. Oh, here we go, folks. ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely after offensive Charlie Kirk comments, which is kind of burying the lead, guys. I said, like, this is really more about his crap viewership, but do you want to play that? Actually, you know what? Don't play that just yet. Read down the article first.
Jimmy Kimmel is taking an involuntary hiatus. ABC said it is pulling the comedian's late-night talk show off the air indefinitely following his controversial comments about the killing of Charlie Kirk. That should read assassination.
No kidding.
Kirk. Jimmy
it's
Kimmel,
kind of like the 10 Commandments difference between thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not murder, which actually I think I saw the Pope misquote today. But anyways, continue.
Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely, a ABC spokesman confirmed. It should post on Wednesday, September 17th. And they should definitely replace it with 3 runs of Babylon 5.
Yes! Babylon 5, do it! Or DS9, just do it.
Kimmel, 57, I don't know why they felt it necessary to list his age, faced backlash after he said Monday night that the MAGA gang was trying to score political points off Kirk's murder after the conservative activist was shot dead on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, September 10th.
Bro, okay, pause for a moment, because we need some context for this. We need some, because now their narrative is already starting up from the left, you know, Density and Hassan Piker and whatever. Oh, I guess comedy is illegal, right? He was canceled for comedy, right?
Yeah, that was really funny.
So I tell you what, guys, let's go ahead and we will compare the uproariously funny statement that Jimmy Kimmel made about Charlie Kirk. I mean, it was a comedy bit for the ages. To a late night comedian from a damn decade ago who was passed over for a job, by the way, for Stephen Colbert. You know, let's go ahead and compare that. Here we go.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the 4th stage of grief, construction. Demolition.
Gut-busting stuff, guys. Gut-busting stuff. Trump talking over a helicopter, probably not even hearing the first part of that question. And he presents it as if it's a referendum on Trump's grief. Even though, of course, Trump made a statement the day he was killed and expressed his grief, right? So
let's not skip over the fact that he starts off with blatant misinformation.
Yes.
Saying this is MAGA killing one of its own.
Yeah.
Right.
We have established the parents said he was a leftist. The boyfriend said he was a leftist. The friend said he was everyone who has turned witness on this kid.
The
has said he was a leftist.
boyfriend.
Right.
So,
and the media altogether is like, so what you're saying is there's a chance he's a conservative. You're saying there's that's where let's compare that little monologue, that gut-busting monologue, to a late-night comedian from a decade ago who was passed over for a job by the criminally unfunny Stephen Colbert, talking off the top of his head because most of these monologues were not scripted. Craig Ferguson just randomly talking about...
I'm very excited because there's a big movie opening today I want to see. It's called Gamer. It's about a guy called Mayor who's gay. Actually, you know who is the star of the movie, though, Gamer, is Jerry Butler, who's a friend of mine. He's from Scotland. I know him. He's my friend. I call him on the phone. I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's playing Gamer. Actually, no, it's not that. He plays a tough guy. Anyway, he's... Not that you can't be tough and gay. Oh, no, here come the emails. Oh, no. Well, let me tell you, mister. I'm sorry. Look, if we wrote it down and ran it by a focus group, I'd never make mistakes. But we don't.
That's Craig Ferguson off the top of his head, and Kimmel with a room full of writers coming up with some of the most brilliant stand-up comedy you'll ever run. This is the comedy that's being canceled right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're doing. Did we just give up on late night comedians even being funny? I mean, I think we know what's been going on. These networks have essentially been subsidizing professionally unfunny pseudo comedians for propaganda purposes, right? Like, when is the last time, Taryn, you turned on a late night comedian and laughed? Like, even tried to smile?
I don't think I've watched any late night TV.
Yeah,
for like 20 years.
I'd break out a list of the funniest Jimmy Kimmel jokes, but I don't think they make Post-it notes that small. We're literally... And dude, did you see that intensely awkward podcast recently between Jimmy and what's her name? The plastic surgery petri dish he used to date. You know what Sarah Silverman. Did you see that little piece of magic? The friend zone?
That's just two people I don't ever want to watch, ever.
No kidding. And Jimmy, have you noticed as he's gotten older, he has that face like he's perpetually trying not to cry? Or like he's holding in a fart or something. He has the same expression as a man watching the doctor snap on a rubber glove right before a prostate exam. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to play the clip again because I'm not going to subject you people to it. But he does. He's right. He's like on the edge of weeping perpetually. But I just don't. Wouldn't it be wild Wouldn't it be wild if we actually tried making a late night show that was actually funny? I saw Milo actually threatening to do that. Did you see that?
God, he'd be the perfect replacement.
Dude, it'd be brilliant. I would watch every single episode.
They'd never do it, but God, that would be amazing.
Every single freaking episode. Actually, shoot, I forgot. We have a reaction from CNN. I haven't even watched this, so we'll see if this is worth laughing at. I'm sure it will be. But CNN reacting to Jimmy Kimmel being canceled for having low ratings. Let's be real. This was an excuse. I mean, are you with me on this, Taryn? Like this?
No, 100%. Yeah.
He makes $15 million a year to be dick last in the ratings. That's why he's being fired. This is an off-ramp. It's the same thing for Colbert. I forget what the final figure was that he was making. It was an Olympian sum. He was making more than anybody, and his ratings were in the toilet. He was getting beaten by a cable show, Gutfeld. But let me go ahead and bring this up. We'll go ahead and laugh in unison at it's Glanderson Pooper, folks.
Brian, I want to start with you because you reached out to the FCC chairman Carr. What did he tell you?
And he sent me the GIF that we will put on screen, Anderson. It's a picture from the old NBC sitcom The Office of the stars of The Office celebrating some ridiculous moment on the show. So he is celebrating Disney's capitulation here. And I think,
dude, I did not see this. The FCC chair was celebrating getting him shit canned. Did you hear about this?
No.
This is genius.
That's amazing.
Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute, Brian. We're putting this on the screen, and I just gotta. We can't. This is you. You said this is a tweet you sent. You said I asked the FCC for a response, and the chairman of the FCC sent you this.
I then replied and I said, do you have anything quotable I can use? But let me give you the...
Do you have anything quotable I can use? Oh my God, I can't handle... We've seen enough. I'm fine going right. That was brilliant, dude. The chairman of the FCC is shitting all over Brian Stelter. Dude, how does it feel to get what you voted for, Taryn?
I'm not sick of winning.
I'm not sick of it. I'm not sick of it at all.
All these years later, I still love it.
ABC should hire the chairman of the FCC to be the new late night host, for Christ's sake. Are you with me, people? Jesus. We have so many super chats and we've been ignoring them. I'm so sorry. Let me get to the very beginning. All right. The Andrew Nightmare talk show title, Razor Bants to Tarangel Hobo Tactics. Hey, I think that would probably draw higher ratings than Kimmel. All right. Sea Striker reminder, Kimmel used his kid's health scare for a spiteful political jab.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I completely forgot about that. For those wondering, by the way, Tactical Hobo's having internet connection problems. He might be back if his connection stable. We're having weird weather out here.
It actually rained a little earlier.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's weird out where he is too. Big Mike, whenever people are trying to use words to get you down with harsh words, folks, just remember the old adage. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but hollow points expand on impact. It's true. Primark, speaking of flags at half-mast, almost every flag I saw outside the Twin Cities was at half-mast. A lot of Minnesotans, even libs, are angry over Charlie. Let me tell you a story about that, bro. I have a friend, I won't say who it is, they're known on YouTube, who went to a theme park recently, Disney theme park. And they said that at Disney World, the flags were at half staff for Charlie Kirk.
Whoa.
I was like, oh, come again? What?
Disney World. Not even shitting you guys. That blew my mind. I couldn't believe that. Jake's Dino God, the FCC didn't can the crybaby Kimmel. ABC's affiliates did. Capitalism, baby. Also, his ratings were 130,000 for ages 18 to 40. Yeah, his demo was abysmal. And it's funny because Jimmy Kimmel was hired, I remember, back in the early 2000s. He didn't draw that great of ratings, but they would always be trumpeting, oh, he has such a young audience. And that audience is gone, dude. Only boomers watch this guy. Only boomers. And why? Because, like, at the very beginning, he was reasonably funny, I guess. He wasn't like Conan O'Brien funny. He certainly wasn't Craig Ferguson funny, but he was all right. After he became just a political hack man, and there was no attempt at even being humorous, even political humor. We would accept political humor even if it came from the left. Once he just became the guy who was lying about the shooter being MAGA, you know, nobody but boomers wanted to watch that. Before we move too far away from that, let's remember the facts here. He lied about the shooter being MAGA. This guy had a tranny boyfriend.
Yeah.
He had the Antifa messages etched onto his bullets. And they found his Steam account. He was playing gay furry games. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, oh yeah, totally MAGA.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, if being a gay furry prevented you from being MAGA, where would that leave Nick Fuentes? I'm only teasing. Actually, Nick Fuentes had a halfway sensible take just the other day. All right. Flint Ironstag. Greetings, Monsieur Fist. Who would you like as AG to replace Dumb Blonde Eye? Oh, my gosh. What an imbecile she is right now. Have you seen some of the stuff she's been saying?
Fucking bringing up hate speech.
Hate speech. And keep in mind, guys, and I do want to go on record, this is bullshit. The speech codes about you're not allowed to say Jews killed Christ, that is a problem. Because, yeah, we don't just blame Jews for killing Christ, but they were one of the groups that killed Christ. If we can't say that Jews killed Christ, then we can't say Romans killed Christ. We can't, right? We can't say that he was sold out by Judas at that point. We are in violation and contravention of history at that point. So you couple that with Pam Bondi talking about free speech codes and whatever. Nah, bitch. We need someone else. This broad has got to go.
There's a definitive line between hate speech and propaganda.
Yep.
It is propaganda that they are spewing about this shooter being right wing. We're trying to call it out, saying that, oh, now we're canceling people and this is hate speech. No, absolutely not.
You couple speech codes with stuff like that, and it's going to be a serious problem. Who would you replace her with, though? That's the problem. You need a few good men. Fortunately, more and more people are rising to the occasion now. There's people are a little bit less meek now, but I can't off the top of my head. I mean, I think Trump got most of his wish list. You know what? Ooh, here's one to really troll everybody. You ready for this one? Let me know what you think of this, folks. Bannon.
Race Bannon.
Yes, race Bannon. I'm just saying, how hard would the entire media melt down? Convicted felon Steve Bannon, fresh out of prison, or better yet, Milo. From
oh no! He would throw half the country in prison.
Yes, I'm saying.
A couple of people have thrown out some names in the chat. I agree with definitely Matt Gaetz. I don't think he'd accept, but I want him there.
Yeah, and Matt Gaetz got screwed out of a position earlier, which was retarded. Granted,
which, by the way, we haven't covered this. Since they changed the law today, in one sitting in the Senate, 48 positions were filled and voted on in the Senate of Trump's picks. All at once. They did it all at once. That's exactly what we needed.
Dude, look, you're never going to get perfection out of an administration, but man, this go around, this third term, let's be real, is night and day in terms of getting shit done.
Yeah.
Compared to Trump at this point in his first term. I feel like after the first 3-4 months, the first Trump administration really started to run out of momentum because the snakes started sticking the knives in. And he was suddenly dealing with all that garbage, right? He was distracted, basically. They have this time really had their eye on the ball. Not on everything. They haven't been perfect on everything, but it has been nice to see a few laws get passed. Most of the appointments get through. We had that Matt Gaetz hiccup, but you throw Tulsi in there and okay, it's all copacetic. I've just been way more impressed with the focus this time, I guess is what I would say. What about you?
No, we've been trucking along at a quick pace, and I'm loving it. I'm digging it.
Jake Stano got hunting season starting. Deer, duck, communist. Indeed. All right. Fawcett, remember the Rageaholic shirt. Eat, sleep, purge, commies, repeat. Fawcett, Kimmel in the can. Hassan before Congress. Antifa labeled an international terror organization. Please stop with the winning a guy can only ride an orgasm for so long. Godspeed, bro. Hung Nguyen. Leftoids say it's cancel culture. I suggest we borrow their language and call it fighting fire with fire. See, I don't even think that's necessarily accurate. We are in a defensive situation right now. We are in a self-defense situation. The left created a situation where they could transgress against us without any consequences. They pressed the figurative gun to our lumbar and held us up for money. And then we just now whirled around, took control of the gun, and now we have to end the threat. And once we've ended the threat, we can talk about, hey, let's have a more equitable playing field, preferably by instituting some proper election laws. Let's make that happen, folks. But afterward, we can talk about that. Of course, I went over all this in last night's rant. I suggest you watch that, and cancel culture came for the left. Godspeed, sir. Thank you for joining us. Mark J. Learning from reality is a last resort for lefties. Serious question, Taryn. What do you think it would take? Because I rack my brain trying to think about this, and I cannot think about it. What would it take for the left to learn their lesson? What would it take for them to be genuinely repentant?
This thing that happened with Charlie recently, pushed a lot of holdouts over to the right. Just seeing how their fellow leftists were acting and saying, "Oh, he deserved it," and blah blah. We know all this.
Yep.
That really helped. As for the rest, I'm not convinced you can save them. There are so many that are so far left. They just don't care.
They don't care, and they have no incentive. And worse still, everybody who countervailed against the far, far left cultural Marxist narrative has been drummed out of the core, right? They've all gotten, look, Kirsten Sinema was a hardline, party line leftist. She voted with Biden 99% of the time, and they drummed her out of the party, dude. They drummed her out of the party just because she pretended to be moderate sometimes to placate her voters. If Kirsten Sinema gets drummed out of the Democratic Party, what in the world hope does that party have? Because I said many years ago, perhaps naively, that Tulsi Gabbard was well-positioned, that if the left came to their senses down the road, she would be one of the people to kind of inherit the party. Who inherits the party now? You alienated Manchin. You alienated Tulsi Gabbard. You alienated Kirsten Sinema. You're alienating Uncle Festerman, even though he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Who do you have left at that point? Who can pick up the pieces? That's my question. I'm worried that you're literally going to have to go. You're going to have to either have a subgroup within the Democratic Party that like takes it over like a battering ram, or you're screwed for generations. We could be witnessing the outright death of the Democratic Party right now. And I know that sounds hyperbolic, but honestly, if they don't know how to course correct, this is going to be a problem, especially if we start passing real election reform. Then they're really screwed, because their entire electoral strategy is promise the world to deep blue cities and ignore everyone else and alienate and demonize everyone else. How are you going to do that? If you can't make the sale to fly over country, you're dead in a post-election reform world, especially if, as I suggested to Sebastian Gorka, who is in the administration right now and loved this idea, that Trump pushes state-level electoral colleges. If that happens, Democrats have done so. I don't know if you would agree with that statement, but...
No, 100%. We need that badly.
Matthew Hammond, do you expect violence at Charlie Kirk's funeral? I would not think that would be a very soft target after the events of last week. I don't know about you.
Especially in Arizona. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, dude, our pets are armed out here. Like, everyone's got a gun. Our guns have a gun, for crying out loud. We are very well armed out here. So if somebody decided to fuck around, they would find out in very short order. Thank you, Roy Holocaust. All right. Normal man. Remember, folks, it's not cancel culture. It's consequence culture. Yes. Accountability culture, if you prefer. All right. Glitchy Rhythm. The cult can't be reasoned with. They're in our offices. Illegitimate film. I'm at my wit's end. People I know are more angry at Trump for whatever he said about Kimmel than Kimmel fucking lying about the shooter's motives. They think Trump is a dictator, pardon me, as if he's behind the show getting pulled. Yeah, of course, we do have to correct the record on that. The FCC threatened a complaint because of the disinformation, I believe. And ABC used that as rather than ABC standing up to the FCC, which they often do. They did not stand up to them because they saw an opportunity to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel. Let's be real.
Yeah.
They wanted to get rid of him because he costs too much and he's not drawing ratings. It had nothing to do with Trump. Now, Trump mocked him, thank God. But we knew he was going to mock him because Jimmy Kimmel's basically done nothing but dump on Trump this entire time. Raggedy Man. I saw Hassan trying to defend his BS on Australian TV. Finally, people will see what he has said. All right. Hung Nguyen, do you see leftoids trying to make Kimmel their martyr and Newscum all the Charlie Kirk memes to make them about Kimmel? Huh? Oh, and Newscum all the Charlie Kirk memes to make them about... I see what you mean. I have seen them trying to reverse right-wing memes into being about the Kimmel situation. See, you were never for principled free speech. Well, here's the problem. We're not in a situation where free speech is allowed. We're not. We have to recognize this present moment. That's not the playing field. That's not the battlefield. The left chose the rules. The left chose the battlefield. We have to abide by the rules of the battlefield. Do we not? I mean, they took control of the institutions. They changed the law. They changed corporate policy in order to make sure that people could lose their jobs over countervailing against the leftist narrative. Do we not then have to reverse that? We have to subjugate them. Then we can move on in a principled way if we'd like to. I know it's going to be very, very tempting for some people to not lay down that authority, but I would suggest we do need to consider maybe letting the left push some of these laws to get rid of the speech codes and shit, because we never should have had these. We never should have had any of these. There shouldn't be a corporate policy you lose your job over something you said on Twitter. I think we could all agree on that. So if the left get mad enough about this and they start pushing for that, I say let them. Like I said, back when Roe v. Wade was overturned, I thought we missed a prime opportunity to neuter the power of the Supreme Court. The left were uniquely motivated to neuter the power of the Supreme Court. We shouldn't need a Clarence Thomas, right? I think we should look at this situation in a similar way. Use the momentum of the left and join with them in a bipartisan effort to get rid of the damn speech codes. Yeah. Oh, you don't like a taste of your own medicine, do you? Oh, you don't like losing your job over something you said on Twitter. Well, I guess we should change that law then, right? And then we get what we want. That was the entire point to begin with. So this is not an unprincipled thing. This is tactics, is what it is. And I hope someone in the administration has a conception of that. I really, really do. I know there are really, really smart people around him, though. So I would think there are. I'm speaking of Antifa being designated. Did I interrupt you? Did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say, when the smoke clears, then we'll discuss mercy.
But indeed, after we have razed your towns to a smoldering ruin, shall we talk about a group being investigated in connection to the assassination? Speaking of Antifa being designated a terror group, they're not the only one. I'm really impressed, by the way, with how they have hunted down the organization connections to this shooting, because this guy bragged about what he was going to do to a lot of people ahead of time. He absolutely did. And those people were connected to groups, and it seems that he was connected to some of those groups. And now it looks like there is going to be a concerted effort to hunt them down. Do you have that story, Taryn?
Yeah, it should already be up.
There we go. Our Armed Queers SLC. Go ahead and read that.
Armed Queers SLC.
I love that these groups have names that sound like an insult my grandpa would have come up with like 20 years ago, right? Armed Queers sounds like something a drill sergeant would shout at an effeminate army recruit, right?
Anyway, now under an FBI investigation as an extended network related to Charlie's killer.
Yeah.
The founder of Armed Queers SLC is also an organizer for PSL, which is funded by Neville Singham.
Cuban. This is the guy I was referring to earlier. Cuban billionaire who's been funding a lot of Antifa and BLM. The No Kings demonstrations were funded by Neville Singham.
And the Chinese Communist Party.
There you are. There you are. Boom goes the dynamite.
Why did Armed Queers SLC delete their Instagram after Charlie was murdered? Why is Neville Singham affiliated with radical extremist groups that may have ties to Charlie Kirk's assassin?
Yep. Indeed. And this woman is what, like a naturalized Iranian woman, or she's like an Iranian emigre or something? I think. Again, like I said, the day of the event, we should just anyone involved in this, anyone who okayed this, we should just bring back drawing and quartering. I think I did suggest that the night of the event. We need public executions again. Bring back drawing and quartering, tie one limb to a racehorse, try another one to a V8 Camaro, make them disarmed queers. Just let's do it. Freaking front and center, public, broadcast it on HBO. You will never see one of these copycat assassins again, ever. Or the mass shooters either. You mark my over many words, by the way. You will hear the words funded by the Chinese Communist Party much, much more in the days to come. Our side doesn't like to talk about that because we're too busy juice-burging. But that is a failure to recognize where we are in the present moment, and it's midwit shit. And someone's got to say it. The Chinese Communist Party funds a lot of this stuff. They've always been funding Antifa, just as the Soviet Union funded domestic Antifa back in the 20s, 30s, 40s. They were still funding domestic communist efforts up until the Berlin Wall fell, as I've discussed in my Hollywood Was Always Red video, and most recently in my McCarthy Martyred by Marxism video. We've got to recognize that the Chinese Communist Party recognize that they are the inheritors of the legacy of the Comintern. The Comintern doesn't technically exist anymore, but functionally it does. It's just the CCP internationally funds this stuff. What's your sense of this? Do you think like these guys were probably involved in it? Do you think those other groups were involved in it? What do you think? And how far up do you think this goes?
I think personally that they radicalized this guy. Obviously, they filled him up with all this bullshit. Mm-hmm. But then he just decides on his own to say, you know what? I'm going to be the one who takes it to the next step.
Yeah,
I'm going to be the one who actually does it and leads by example. Because from the conversation he had with his significant other, it kind of sounds like, oh, no, you didn't. You weren't actually supposed to do anything.
Right.
Even though he discussed it earlier with their group, was like, man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm etching bullets. I'm going to do it. See, I don't think they actually expected him to go all the way.
Yeah. You know, when you have a friend who begins etching messages into bullets, bit of a red flag. I'm just saying.
Of course, they wouldn't have no intention of actually turning him in or warning anyone, because secretly they hope he does do it.
Yep.
And that makes them liable criminally.
It should. It absolutely should. We've seen this again and again with these kind of dimly connected sort of groups or whatever that are involved. You know, who, for example, is stacking pallets of bricks outside government buildings during the fentanyl Floyd riots?
Yeah.
Somebody has to move that. Who's renting out the damn U-Hauls? Who's printing up all of the pre-printed, professionally designed signage for all of these groups at all of these riots? And when these riots are ending in arson and death, this is an important question for us to be able to answer. And for some reason, it took until 2025 for us to start chasing down the funding. What the hell, dude? How did it take this long is my question. I do not understand. I said this the night of the assassination, and I stand by every damn word. America has few, if any, domestic commie groups. And that has been true since the inception of this nation. We can have outgrowths of it, but follow the string, and it always leads back to a great big yarn ball back in Beijing, at least these days. We are in a Cold War that only one side has elected to inaugurate. We are sitting here with our dicks in our hands while there is an aggressor just feeding poison to an entire generation through universities. And Trump is just as hapless as some people. Look at his comments about the 600,000 CCP students and shit a few weeks ago. I mean, granted, he walked it back, and good on him for doing it and being amenable to correction. But Jesus, guys, like we got to get in the game here and recognize that, like, okay, we don't want to be part of a Cold War, but Cold War is upon you, whether you would inaugurate it or not. That's literally kind of where we are at this juncture. Agamemnon Fireman. I thought 2025 would be a year of respite, but what happened to Charlie has proven the exact opposite. I had the joy to see him on stage at the inauguration earlier in January. We'll never forget it. Yeah, I was lucky enough to go to Amfest last year, so that's my only connection to Charlie Kirk. I know people who know Charlie Kirk. I know people who have been in regular contact with him and stuff, and I have relatives who semi-regularly attended his church. As I talked about earlier, maybe we should talk about the Candace Owens comments, because she has found a way to make Charlie Kirk's assassination all about her, has she not? What in the hell is going on with this woman?
Dude, she, like, in the past, I want to say year or so, has just gone into, like, deep conspiracies, and I mean, she's becoming one of the, like,
if you're interested in conspiracies, you're interested in conspiracies. What I can't stomach is making a statement unironically like only Erica Kirk can shut me up. The woman is mid-morning right now. Oh yeah, let's ring her up. Let's hit up her beeper and have her tear herself away from informing her children that their dad is dead. And have her go set you straight on your goofy Oprah wannabe podcast. The fuck, you stupid cunt. Shut up. And now she's going after his pastor. Actually, shoot, I think I have that. Let me see if I can find that. We'll watch that real quick just for cringing sake. This drives me up the wall.
Lastly, I want to say to this like new flex operation mocking pastor, regarding which, by the way, the first time they went after Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, a source told me, and I would love to get this confirmed, I'm going to find this out, that $150 million was spent on that, and it came from Bibi Netanyahu. I would like to figure out if that's true. Anyways, obviously investigating this, and I'm not going to let it go. Okay, you're not going to emotionally use some jujitsu, and I'm referring here to Roy or Rob McCoy, who says, I'm Charlie's pastor, and here's the truth, or whatever it is, to look the other way right now, okay? You're not going to tell me that I have to feel too bad to investigate who shot my friend in front of my face. So stop the nonsense.
Serious question. Has Candace even been in a room with Charlie Kirk in the past? Best friend?
So for what I heard was, he kind of soft put her away. He stopped following her on X. I don't think they've talked in like 2 years.
Yeah,
something like that.
Like, wasn't she she was like tits deep in Turning Point for a while there. She was all up in them, and she was kind of considered the heir apparent of Turning Point, if I remember correctly. And then they kind of had a separation, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care enough about either of them to know, but that's my understanding. Is that yours?
Yeah, I forget where I heard this from. I think it was today. I don't know if it came directly from the wife.
Yeah, it's like these two people have not breathed the same air in like two years or more. Now all of a sudden they're fraternal twins. Like, Bill has spent more time in a bed with Hillary over the past 2 years, and we're supposed to take her word about, I don't know, a pastor she's probably never even met, and whatever else she's claiming now. Anyways, sorry.
This is what Charlie's pastor passed around to all of the people that were intimidating Charlie leading up to his death. It's funny that Charlie's pastor couldn't find his voice when Bibi Netanyahu was lying about Charlie. Here's pastor. You know what he's saying are lies. No, he didn't find his voice saying anything about Bibi Netanyahu.
Now, I don't know what the Netanyahu stuff. I know Netanyahu put out like a video or something. Did he make some outlandish claim of undying allegiance to Charlie Kirk? I mean, look, I know Charlie Kirk described himself as a Zionist sometimes, which is one of the points of difference that I had with him as a non-dispensationalist. But do you know what the deal with that was?
The only thing I recall regarding Netanyahu was that the day of the shooting, he just made a statement and said, I feel bad. I'm sorry that he's dead. That is all I heard. I wasn't aware that there was anything else.
Yeah. All right.
Candace investigating things? Yeah, that's got to stop. Here's what he wrote. Okay. What's his name? Rob McCoy. He wrote, Charlie Kirk was my friend and I was his pastor. I want to simply say this regarding Candace Owens. Charlie Kirk was a friend to Candace and never publicly spoke poorly of her, though he disagreed with her. He never operated nor entertained gossip or innuendo concerning Candace. My only comment I offer regarding Candace is this. I only wish at this tragic time of mourning.
By the way, could there be a softer statement than this? Like the pastor's kid gloves have kid gloves on.
She would be the friend to Charlie Kirk that he was to her. He would never have treated Candace or her family in such a way had, God forbid, this tragedy been hers. A friend loves at all times, and he drops a biblical proverb. Now, let me say this, okay? I hope that Charlie would have been the sort of friend that I'm being, okay? He would have never, why? Why wouldn't Charlie Kirk have investigated if I had been killed and we were being so obviously lied to?
What? Here's
About what?
Here's a better question. If your assertion is that it is possible, I don't think she is claiming. I don't want to put words in her mouth because I think she has specifically said this, but if you are saying it is possible that Israel or Mossad had Charlie Kirk killed, okay. If I'm thinking in a back room Jew kind of frame of mind, who's higher on the list in my list of possible assassinations? Charlie Kirk? Candace Owens? You know what I mean? It's like, lady, you're sitting here talking in front of a microphone. Why the hell wouldn't he have killed you? This is my problem with this hypothesis. But anyways,
I think you're wrong.
Sorry, I thought you wanted to say something there. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Not really. It's just like we know who did it. We've got the motive. Well, not according to the fucking mainstream media.
Yeah,
we know why he did it. You know,
right? We know it was a MAGA guy, right? It was a MAGA guy.
We know he was a leftist. Like, where is even the Jewish stuff coming in?
I do not understand at all. You know, I think what this comes down to really is, let's do a thought exercise, guys. If I asked you right now to picture in your mind what it looks and sounds like to hear Candace Owens apologize and admit she was wrong, would you have a sufficient frame of reference to imagine it? Could you do it?
This goes back to that thought experiment. That goes back to the thought experiment. Can you picture an apple in your hand?
Yes!
Picture the apple. You know what? I can picture myself holding an apple and walking through a field, but I can't picture this woman saying I was wrong for some reason.
Right. And it isn't as if she hasn't been wrong. Back in July, she looked like a retard for predicting boots on the ground in Iran. Like, no apology, no admission of fault. She was far too busy making an 18-part docuseries on why July has the word Jew in it. You know, like, she just went on to the next thing. That's how it goes. Now we're in September. Still no word on war with Iran. I guess World War III will come out about the same time Ian Carroll does. Like, look, I'm Lutheran. I have many criticisms of Roman Catholicism, but one criticism I would never level at Catholics is that they don't sufficiently emphasize repentance or penance. This woman's ostensibly Roman Catholic. Can you even conceive a scenario where she admits fault of any kind to a priest or anyone else? This woman could kick a puppy and make it Fido's fault. This just drives me up the wall. I don't understand. It's like just a little bit of humility is all anyone is asking for. But honestly, the conspiracy around it, whatever she wants to assert, doesn't bother me that much. Trying to assert that the widow needs to come out of the woodwork in the middle of mourning to set you straight. There's detritus, there's a sub-basement beneath detritus, and then there's Candace Owens. What in the fuck, bitch? Shut your wall-eyed ass up. Shut up. Jesus.
Our mod Camino Uni brings up a point. To be fair, can you imagine most women admitting they're wrong?
Oh, good point. Good point and well made, honestly. Good point and well made. Blitz Systems. Antifa is going to be declared a terrorist organization, and Destiny got demonetized off. Did he? Got demonetized off YouTube. Stop. I can only get so erect. I thought he had pulled kind of a switcheroo and claimed that his Twitter account had been shut down when actually that happened a long time ago. Right?
Twitch. He got banned off of Twitch like in 2023.
Twitch.
And he put that out as fresh news, and unfortunately, a lot of people fell for it.
They took the bait. Yes, I saw that. Javi, nobody the hate monger. The very ghost of Joseph McCarthy must return. Godspeed. The number one schmuck. What do you mean they've learned nothing? They learned it's bad when lefties get punished for speech by being fired, but not when right-wingers get punished for speech by being killed. Wait, that wasn't the lesson? Oh, shoot, I'm reading these super chats. Do you want to read some of the comments from the Twitter thread I put up yesterday for the Razor Force? You guys had some great questions, and I want to thank you for them.
I'll read a couple of those, and then I should hit just a handful of Rumble rants that we have as well.
Sweet.
Over on your thread, you guys sent in some comments and questions over on the X. And we'll start here with Sonic Overdrive. How far will Trump go with stamping out groups like Antifa? Think he'll go as far as going after companies, online platforms, colleges and universities, political groups, and political parties that have ties to, receive funding from, and or are owned by the CCP?
Fortunately, we already have a guideline for this. You guys should look this up if you're not already aware of it. Michael Savage used to go off about this every single episode. RICO statutes. RICO statutes. Look them up. That is how you deal with domestic communist organizations. And if you follow the money and RICO statutes apply to a given party, then you prosecute them under RICO statutes. So this is actually this is a rare case where the answer to a question is very, very straightforward. And, just in case it makes your nipples hard, Trump has mentioned RICO statutes before, as has Bannon, as have a number of people. I think JD Vance mentioned them one time. Like, I need a cigarette and I don't even smoke. It's fantastic.
Cliff Cosmic says, what kind of dog does a magician own? A Labracadabrador.
Oh, I'm sorry for the 8,000 people who will tune out at the punchline to that joke. Godspeed.
Weefy. Thoughts on the James Lindsay versus Matt Walsh beef happening at the moment?
James Lindsay, Matt Walsh. Yeah, I don't understand. I think James Lindsay actually took Matt Walsh out of context a little bit. Where he was talking about how there's a so Matt Walsh wrote an article for, was it Daily Wire? And the headline of it, I think James Lindsay read the headline and didn't read the body text. Because it said, there is a conspiracy about the death of Charlie Kirk or whatever. It was just an eye-grabbing headline. If you read the article, all Matt Walsh says is there were actually a whole bunch of people involved in Charlie Kirk's death. And he's correct. There were organizations that this gunman was connected with. He was saying the same thing we are here today. This is not some loony. James Lindsay quote tweeted it and was like, oh, he's jumping in on the Israeli conspiracy. No, he wasn't. And I freaking hate Matt Walsh. He is like in full talent deficit. He's not funny. He's not talented. He's not smart. He's not good at talking on a microphone. He shouldn't have an audience. I hate everything about Matt Walsh and his stupid hipster beard. But he didn't say anything wrong here. If I'm defending him, you can bank on him not having said anything wrong. He was completely correct. He was just saying that this guy was connected to various Antifa and furry adjacent groups. But anyway, yeah, like that's all he was saying. So I think James Lindsay's a little bit out of line on this one, to tell you the truth.
I'll read a couple more here. From Dragon Master, thoughts on the response to Charlie's death. The number of colleges holding vigils with massive turnout is insane. Not to mention the amount of chapter requests that have come in.
Yep. What was it, like 30-something thousand? Something like that?
Something enormously high.
It was outrageous. And the before portrait was even more ridiculous. They had something like, I want to say it was in the neighborhood of between 1,000 and 2,000 chapters of Turning Point USA before that. After Charlie Kirk's death, they got 30+ thousand inquiries in a day or two. That's lunacy. Sea Striker, are they actually trying to equate Jimmy Kimmel being suspended on the same level as Charlie Kirk being murdered? They have no shame. No kidding, dude. Kevin Patrick, they only believe in power, not truth, morality, reason, or God, just power. They are as postmodern, constructivist, Marxist, or nihilistic as they need to be for their almighty Lord power. It's a drug they cannot give up. Well put, sir. Did I see Sam Hyde? This is you. No, I didn't. I don't normally watch Sam Hyde. Nothing against him. I don't follow him or anything. Antifa. More like Antifa's. Godspeed, bro.
Very good. Very good.
Hammer of Subtlety. Be safe, guys. They got Kirk and are hooked on that high now and will want more. Be safe out there, guys. I hope this has been a wake-up call to people who don't concealed carry, who don't have the means to protect themselves. This needs to be a wake-up call for you guys. It really does. Go out there, get your firearms defense classes, get your concealed carry class and permit, do the due diligence, study your firearms, get familiar with it, get to the point where you can trust it, and carry every day you possibly can. I'm telling you, it's been a wake-up call for me. I'll say that. I've really modified my behavior. If I was ever lazy about carrying, I no longer am, dude. I don't leave the house without it. Gabriel, for Antifa to truly be brought to justice, George Soros needs to be convicted. Well, now it's Alex Soros, but yes. T-Rex and Crypto Travels. I just try to stay positive. I went to church for the first time in a long time last Sunday, and God willing, plan to continue to attend. I know a lot of people who have the same idea. It truly is amazing. Godspeed. That's wonderful to hear. I actually today was on a podcast with a Lutheran pastor who does a podcast, Brandon War. Shout out to you. He's a member of the RazörForce as well. And that podcast will probably be out in the next week or two. So be on the lookout for that. We talked about some of the people coming back to their faith and our advice to them across, even to non-Lutherans, by the way, just to people who are feeling convicted to go back to church, like what to do. My big advice is understand that if you are feeling convicted to go to church, this is the salvific word of Jesus. So try not to have too much ecclesial anxiety about it, worrying about what church you're going to go to and whether or not it'll be a right fit. The Lord will find you your place. Try not to stress about it too much. Just be in the word so that you'll have the necessary discernment to know if it's a real scriptural church when you get there. And once you find your place, you're going to know it. You're going to know it pretty quickly if the Lord has seen fit to cultivate that discernment in you. Emperor Soft Turtle, how much you want to bet South Park was going to make Kirk the Cartman version of Kirk be shot, have it be Trump or a Groyper? But even they aren't so TDS brain rotted to do that now with the info out. Yeah, what'd you think about South Park just spontaneously canceling an episode?
Wow, I mean, it's kind of amazing, isn't it? You would think that they're usually so on the ball with those episodes. They can make that real quick, and suddenly they have to put on the brakes. I wonder what happened.
That's a coinky of a ding-dong dink, ain't it, folks?
After you read this one, I have a few.
Yeah. J.W. Lancaster, as the FCC overstepped with license threats, Godspeed. Maybe a little, truthfully. Although if they're disseminating outright disinformation, particularly of a violent nature, if they were to take that case to court, there's a good chance their original complaint would be upheld. So I don't know. That's it's like an old person's pubes. It's a bit of a gray area. I don't know about that one. What about you, Taryn?
Lagarticus over on Rumble. Just watched Crowder's appearances with Tim Pool and Piers Morgan. Aside from him being far more tolerant of bad takes and talentless dolts than I am, he's been spitting fire. Laid into Joe Walsh hard.
Oh, I heard he debated Joe Walsh. You know, I got invited on Joe Walsh's podcast right before he went completely insane. I blew him off. He invited me to appear as a guest on the Joe Walsh show or whatever. And yeah, at the last minute, he went completely insane. And I never responded or wound up being a guest on his, it was his radio show at the time. I don't think it was podcast. I think he was on the radio itself at the time. That guy, dude, he looks like he's dying of cancer. Is he okay?
I have no idea.
Did you see him? Pardon me, in that video?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Gosh, he looked like a Holocaust victim or something.
Hiro Sanichiban, thank you for the 20. Alex Jones corrects the record on Sandy Hook next day. Gets kangaroo court. Some call for more murder and destroy memorials and lie and only get fired. Let's not forget how far the left has
Yep, indeed. Some of them have gone too far, too close to the edge of the cliff. What's the Cy Tolliver quote from Deadwood? Some people can't go near a cliff without jumping off. Right? Like that's, I feel like that's the left right now, guys. Dude, that could be the title of a future podcast.
Commander Wolf, remember the 10th of September, the day not unlike the 7th of December and September 11th, where country and organizations fucked around, woke up the giant, and very quickly found out. Godspeed.
Yep. Godspeed, sir.
And a couple more.
Yep.
We got a couple from Dangerous Spaces, a two-parter. After George Floyd, Trump released a video called Healing, Not Hatred, calling for people to stop rioting. Twitter deleted it so that nobody could ever see it. Then there was the time Kayleigh McEnany was asked if Trump denounced white supremacy. She gave several examples of him doing it and was told, but that was in the past. Yes, that's how the flow of time works,
yes. Dumbass. You asked me for evidence of him having done it in the past, and so I cited examples from the past. Thank you very much. Freaking Doc Brown.
Oh, it's a three-parter, excuse me.
Yes.
He continues, don't ask Trump to denounce anything now if you didn't accept when it happened in the past.
Exactly.
Also, if you think denouncing Charlie's murder is some brave, unusual act, that really says more about you.
Doesn't it, though? Doesn't it? And it's crazy, too. Did you see the skit? Oh, I wish I could remember the name of the comedian. Somebody in the chat probably knows. He's a well-known conservative-ish comedian. He put a video together of a liberal trying to compose their tweet about Charlie Kirk's death. Despite not agreeing with anything he said, oh no, that's not right.
I saw that.
Despite him being wrong about absolutely everything. Oh God, that's not right. It's genius. It's genius. I wish I could remember the guy's name. I feel like an asshole. I want to credit him. Ryan Long. Thank you very much. Ryan Long was the name of it. It was freaking hilarious.
And one last one here. Faster Results says, you say Trump is pulling a Biden at the helicopter. He answered perfectly every time at the chopper, but not now. Did you guys
Did he? What's one of the most famous memes? Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death. Did he hear correctly that time? Did he? He didn't act like he did. There's been numerous times where it has been clear that Trump didn't hear the beginning of the question. I mean, you can infer what they're saying or whatever, but come on, that's ridiculous.
And he also gifted a subscription. Thank you.
Godspeed. Lashima, we've been spoiled by the glut of Razor media recently. Have you listened to any of the rock metal to come out of Operation Raise the Colors? Lots of good British protest music out there. I have not. But it has been interesting seeing the flag operation. It does need to be appreciated, the amount of organization that is required to actually get those flags out there. Like it doesn't just happen overnight. I'm impressed thus far by the efforts over in gray old England. Mr. Chain Blue Lightning, to paraphrase Doc Holliday, is not vengeance we are after. It's a reckoning. Godspeed, sir. That's the rumor. Filipino white boy, not politically related, but are you guys excited for the upcoming Star Fox clone, Wild Blue? It looks promising, and it's on all consoles. I think I saw the trailer for that. It looks all right. What about you?
I think I've seen that too. It looked promising.
Mm-hmm. Number one schmuck, no simping for Fetterman. But it's always funny to point out that the guy who had a stroke and can barely string a sentence together has better self-preservation instincts than 99% of his party. That is freaking hilarious. The guy who wears freaking sweaters on a 100-degree day has better self-preservation instincts. It's wild. Gray Matter, hobos riding the rails like the good old days. Yeah, you know what? Maybe that's what the train was about. Well, check out Karlin Borisenko for Antifa info as well. Godspeed. Team Six Pack, we appreciate that, sir. Normal Man, in other news, Candace Owens faced her greatest enemy, herself. Seriously, someone needs to get her to shut up. The things she's been doing this week are gross. Again, you can agree, disagree with whatever she's posited, but it's more so just going after, even name dropping the widow to, hey, come call me out. Right? Only she can make me shut up. Like, Jesus, woman. Self-awareness, for crying out loud. That I do not understand. Giga Twin, random weird footnote. For some reason, Fetterman looks like a real-world version of Starscream's Pretender shell. Put a bucket helmet on Fetterman, and it's eerie how similar he looks to Starscream. Godspeed. Sea Striker, Trump going after Soros with a RICO Act. Good God, I think I need a cigarette after the news. I think I needed a cigarette before the news. Now I need like 10 cigarettes. M. Garcia, does this mean Trump will sick Sam Hyde on Hassan? Yes. Hey, what's that Antifa funding? Show me that Antifa funding. No, it looked good. Show me that Antifa funding. Sorry. Agamemnon Fireman, wish I got to pay respects last week when you went live. Between my aunt's funeral and friend's wedding the next day, I couldn't. Lots of mood whiplash. This has been a wild week, dude. Like, just, and then even before that, with Irina Zarutska was her name, the girl on the light rail, and before that, the Catholic school shooter, and
before that, the lady that got set on fire.
We are reaching new and exciting levels of having enough. Like, we're done. And it can't come too soon. Let's see here. Gummy Worms, Razor Fist, have you considered being on the Unsubscribed podcast? I'd love to see you and Fat Electrician compare binders. I don't know. They kind of spurred at me a while ago and blocked me. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Brandon War, I was just on his podcast. Said, I was told privately Antifa was reading Atlas Shrugged just before being labeled domestic terrorist. Clearly, they were going to convert any day. Now we will never know. You know what? And I believe you. I believe you because you're in regular communication with Antifa, even though you haven't been in the same room in several years. And several people around Antifa say that they have actually planned your assassination. Data Republican is a woman. I didn't know that, but good to know. Is a woman, huh? Data Republican is actually a Dr. T in the women. Kivin NJF has nearly surpassed your YouTube subscribers in Rumble followers. I think you should debate him before the I don't even know who that is. Kevin Spears, rest in peace, Billy from Game Chasers. He died today from brain cancer. He did. I heard that he had a diagnosis. He died? Had you heard this, man?
No, this is news to me.
Billy from Game Chasers. Now, I didn't know them from Adam, but a lot of people that I know did. I know Alpha Omega Sin was good friends with the Game Chasers guys. I heard that he had been diagnosed with brain cancer. That was only, by the way, like 2 weeks ago. week and a half ago, maybe. Like this was really, really recently.
Game Chasers posted it about 4 hours ago.
Oh my God, dude. That is sad. That is really, really sad. Agamemnon Fireman also had some conversations with non-right-wing friends, the few left, about Charlie, and they're devastated about it. I'm relieved there's still humanity there, man. Yeah. I mean, there's been some humanity along with the tragedy. Rest in peace, Billy from Game Chasers. That's absolutely crazy. Very young guy. Just an awful, awful thing. I don't know what happened all around that, but I know he posted. I saw a photo of him in like a hospital bed, and he was asking for prayers and stuff. Just crazy. Hex, I didn't even know. I didn't even know Kimmel was vaccinated. That would work better if you said the Kimmel show was vaccinated. But Godspeed. Did you see Destiny try what Charlie did? That shit was funny. No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, the left is straight off the cob. Yes, sir. Braden Smith. Reddit's currently swamped with posts of World War II photos of Allied forces with titles like Antifa storms Normandy Beach or Antifa liberates concentration camp. We used to joke of LARP, but they really think they're heroes. All right, let's see here. Team Six-Pack. Hey, Razor, what do you think about the shortening of the timeline for Indian green card holders when we have 50 million visa holders currently? It seems the government is still hell-bent on flooding people into the country. Yeah, I agree. Fortunately, again, the good thing is every time Trump has taken a stance on immigration that we haven't agreed with, he has usually a reversed course after he's been pushed on it. So if you're not liking the policy, be vocal about not liking the policy, and there's a pretty good chance that he will reverse course, which is not something we could say of previous administrations. I used the example of George W. Bush back when he was in office, where it was just he would just do the dumbest shit habitually, and it was like it didn't matter what his supporters said. He would just continue doing dumb shit. One more. See here. Ventus Bruma went to a vigil for Charlie in Boston. Well over 1,000 people, but it had to end early. One of the Antifa guys went for the mic as well as a credible threat. You know, normal behavior. Oh, in Boston? In Boston. Perish the thought. Speaking of Antifa aspies making really, really stupid statements in public and immediately finding out after they're fuckething around, let's talk about Ghost of Yote, shall we?
Oh, let's
indeed. I think Sucker Punch is about to be the ghost of a game studio, folks. Let's hear what is happening with Ghost of Yote, which already looked like shit, honestly. But
Ghost of Yote dev reportedly fired after comment about Charlie Kirk's assassination. Sucker Punch has reportedly fired a Ghost of Yote character artist over comments she made online in the wake of the assassination of right-wing political commentator and Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk. Ghost of Yote is set to be one of the biggest PS5 releases of fall season.
Wow, it'll sell tens of copies like all the others.
But it will apparently be moving forward without the continued work of senior character artist Drew Harrison.
Do they have his response? Oh, yes, they did. Okay, keep going.
On September 10th, Kirk was making a public appearance in at Utah Valley University when a shot rang out through the crowd. Sitting under a tent while debating gun violence with an attendee, Kirk was struck in the neck by a bullet and collapsed from his chair. He was rushed from the scene of the shooting to Guadalajara Regional Hospital and underwent emergency surgery, but was later pronounced dead.
Yeah. And dude, did you see the comments from actually the guy who was in the car, and they rushed him away. He finally he told his story and whatever. And they apparently, that was not a false report. I thought it was about them being able to stabilize Charlie Kirk briefly. Apparently it was true. They did briefly, believe it or not, the wizards at this hospital managed to get a pulse very briefly, which is, man, what a fighter. He tried. Charlie tried to make it through. But apparently the surgeon there was too much damage. It was too catastrophic, and they couldn't save him ultimately, which is just, man, heartbreaking.
Yeah. Just right in the neck. That's,
yeah.
I mean, how do you fix that?
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk comments reportedly led to Ghost of Yote artist firing. The shooting has led a flurry of polarizing activity on social media, with many expressing their condolences to Kirk's family or condemning gun violence. Let's keep pretending this is the gun's fault.
Yeah.
And some others making light of the situation. Right.
Yep.
Nothing but jokes on X, folks.
Yep.
Hours after Kirk's death had been publicly announced, a post was added to Harrison's Blue Sky account stating, interesting phrasing, a post was added to Harrison's Blue Sky account.
Yeah.
Not like
from the blue. Yeah. It was the Phantom of the Opera who did it. It was, we're not sure how it was added there. It just sort of mysteriously appeared.
I hope the shooter's name is Mario, so that Luigi know his bro got his back.
Wow, very current reference. Good stuff, bro.
This comment clearly references Luigi Mangione,
yeah,
who has been indicted for the New York City murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in December of 2024.
Their celebration of that killing has been widely attributed to normalizing some of the behavior that led to this tragedy. And yeah, I think there's a strong argument to be made for that. Because, dude, people were dancing around the maypole after that guy got clapped. You remember that?
Mm-hmm. He had a follow-up post. I can read it here. You can see it on screen. If standing up against fascism is what cost me my dream job I held for 10 years, I would do it again 100 times stronger.
That is the post of someone who is confident that he is going to fail upward. That's what that is. That, and it's freaking Blue Sky. He doesn't have to worry about anybody reading it.
LinkedIn account indicates that she has served as a senior staff character artist at Sucker Punch Productions since September of 2016. But her recent comments indicate that she is no longer serving in that role.
Oh, darn.
Some commenters have expressed the desire to set up a GoFundMe account in Harris's name. So, but she has rejected this offer, stating she would prefer money be sent to the American Civil Liberties Union.
What is this?
Suicide prevention organization, the Trevor Project, or the Families in Need in Gaza.
Right. Good times. Charlie Kirk was literally murdered, but wow.
I don't think we need to read any more of that.
I don't think we do either. Jesus Christ. This is what we mean, guys. This is what the title of today's podcast is a reference to. They're going to quintuple down. There is absolutely no self-awareness. Thank you, Doc Holliday. Marusha Dark, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of leftists? The Razor knows. Everyone knows. I Cast Knife. It all sounds like the most obvious Cold War spy film plot, but it's all real somehow, right? What makes the Kimmel part funny? The left are calling for a boycott of Disney. That's true, dude. Which, kind of brings it in perspective with Disney World flying their flags at half-mast for freaking Charlie Kirk. I don't know. You put those two things together, maybe there's trouble in paradise. I don't know what's trouble in Pinko paradise. Gray matter. please. ABC have been looking for a reason to can that Albatross contract since the USAID money dried up. No shit. No shit. Jimmy couldn't even handle the Man Show. It's true. Jimmy hasn't done comedy since the Man Show. Do you read your rants off the cuff or write scripts for them? Or do I record my rants off the cuff or write scripts for them? Rants are, I have a bullet point outline. So I have a little bit of a structure. Like I got a bullet point outline on the screen, but it's just talking points and jokes. The reviews and video essays like film noir archives and stuff, those are scripted. I read those. And I record those as an audio file ahead of time, and I'll either edit over them or I'll throw them over to Taryn after the fact. One take or several. Usually a lot of takes, but every so often I'll do one take. Also, how do you get the red filter effect? That would be a lengthy tutorial, but I use video editing software to get that. Godspeed. Jimmy Kimmel isn't funny. Charlie Kirk tweet from 2017. Already a slam dunk from beyond the grave, Taryn. Hail Craig Ferguson. Indeed. Adam Carolla was the funny one for the Man Show. Adam Carolla was just the funny one of the two, period. His podcast is still worth listening to.
I just came up with an idea real quick before you read this next one. You should do a tutorial on how you do the red filter on your black and white.
Yeah.
But it's an old tutorial. We play Dreamscape 009. We put the Hypercam 2 label in the corner. Bring up Notepad. Type out the tutorial.
Yes.
Yeah. I would do that.
There we are. Spocko. It's an older reference, sir, but it checks out. Craig was the last funny talk show host. You ain't telling lies. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own reactions, Godspeed. Sarah Silverman's best role was in Way of the Gun. I don't know what that means. I never watched it. Her best role was in Seinfeld as Kramer's girlfriend. Big Mike, she is that old, by the way. Big Mike, reminder that Jimmy Kimmel cried over a lion on TV, and he didn't cry over Harambe. That's what separates the men from the boys, folks. Did they cry over Harambe? South perspective. I'm waiting for the CIA to take the funds of Antifa, and I hope they go after Canada because their government is financing them. And Canada's like a proxy of the CCP at this point. Gen X Medic, easy. We found some old Johnny Carson, and the fact that Milo's been reactivated is the scariest thing that could have happened to the left. Yeah, you see, Shapiro and Milo and people like that are going to be doing campus tours again.
Stepping it up.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I know Shapiro stopped after... Dude, you remember some of the, there were near riots the last several times Shapiro did a campus appearance, and the same thing happened to Milo. He got banned before he even got canceled because there kept being riots, and there was a near arson at Berkeley, I remember. Sea Striker, Gutfeld is the funniest late night show. Let that sink in. Gutfeld is a basic cable show and draws higher ratings than network late night shows. Let that sink in. That's insanity, dude. In the age of cord cutting. All right. Sorry. Din's fire. I was going to donate 30 rupees to my favorite hero of High Roll, but after that anti-Gerudo sentiment from last stream, I can only spare 10. He donates 5. I see what you're doing there. Can we get an early life check there on Emperor Creatine? Mr. Spencer, it's so piss awful here in Canada, Stan. Near 1/5 of our population arrived in the last 2 decades. I've had 14 people from high school gleefully celebrate Charlie's passing. Please invade. The problem is we'd be invading and incorporating your citizenry, and that's the problem. Trudeau is not the problem. The citizens of Canada are the problem.
Can we shift most of them into Quebec and just take the rest?
Yep. Marushia Dark, good quote here. The right says guns are for hunting and sport because that's what we use them for. The left says guns are for killing because that's what they use them for. That's where you're wrong, kiddo. Guns are for preserving the Bill of Rights, because that's what the founding fathers used them for. Hero Soldier. Leno was and still is the best late night host. That's certainly a take. One Gravy 2. This whole last week feels like that scene from Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, when the bowman starts the Battle of Helm's Deep. The far left is unable to grasp what they have started, right? And more than a few of them are like that suicidal orc with the freaking powder keg on his back. Trans boyfriend? Dang, maybe he was a grunt. And he was a furry, too. Ooh, watch it.
Ugh.
If I find out he was playing Catboy games, we might have a problem here for Fuentes. Mark Daly, it appears the Obamas are on the rocks. An unnamed servant reported hearing Michelle shout at Barack, "You're not the man I married." And Barack shouted back, "Well, neither are you." Godspeed.
I believe it.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. I'd say Michelle doesn't have the balls to leave, but Sepphoris, even Razor into, I don't even know what that means.
I think he meant
Evening?
Yeah.
Evening? What Bible did you say you use? I use the King James Study Bible. Remember cancel culture? Reap what you sow. Trump talk show after his term limit, we would come full circle since all the Trump roasting on Letterman back in the day. What if after Trump's out of office, he takes all the heads of the deep state and does a deep state version of The Apprentice? Just one head of a deep state agency after another. You fired. You fired. Did you see the protest with Trump leaves, Kimmel stays? No.
I didn't see that.
I saw the tens of protesters outside Disney HQ. Did you see that photo?
I'm sure it was hilarious.
Oh,
a
man.
crowd at least 2 people deep.
And the crowd goes mild. Mark Daly, I bought Tim Walls' service weapon at a gun show. I may have overpaid, but was in good condition. Never been fired and only dropped once. Formerly owned by one of his best friends. Mr. Buster Pants, Kimmel started on Ned Stein's money, Bueller. Huh? Oh, yeah.
Oh, what? God, I can't believe I forgot that.
Shadow Gamble just had some bacon and eggs for his supper. What should be next in regard to any elections this year? What should be next in regards to any elections this year? I don't know what that means. Election laws we need to be pushing and hard. Because honestly, any law we pass, any like ground we gain here is gonna recede if we don't pay attention to our election laws. How many people pissy about Kimmel actually watch him? Exactly. Are we on the offensive? Yes, sir. It's not cancel culture. It's American accountability. Yes, sir. Column Star Knight, Candace Owens, what happened there? Like full grift off her dead friend, or is it righteous indignation? Godspeed. Look, let's be charitable. I think maybe she likes attention. Maybe that's it. But I think also she just has a problem where anytime someone pushes back against her in any way, all she knows how to do is triple down. It's all gas and no brakes, right? Like, have you seen any demonstrative example of her doing the opposite? I haven't.
No.
The left will never be repentant. They must be expelled. Godspeed. Kimmel when Trump lost. Ding dong, Trump is gone. Kimmel when Trump won while crying. It's a dark time for Americans. F you, Jimmy. Yeah, that was hilarious. I still remember him sobbing.
It's all performative.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of those folks that celebrated Kirk's demise truly believe that they were the majority. They honestly think that Trump cheated to win. Probably. The left have often had this problem. You know, they are only the majority in their bubbles of influence, and their bubbles of influence are shrinking. They are perpetually shrinking, and they don't seem very cognizant of this fact. The left call it cancel culture. I call it making them live in the world they want for the rest of us. I call it making them play by the rules they chose. As a former leftist, I can assure that if most of them could learn from the past, the left wouldn't exist anymore. Good point. Shout out to Orrin McIntyre and Benny Johnson for leading the charge to get Kimmel fired. That's one major scalp for a rising star like Orrin to take. Enemies fired, friends hired. Godspeed, Razor. Godspeed. And Godspeed to both of them. They already have a subgroup, Razor. The commies! Wandering Warrior, stop at the left. Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, to hear the lamentations of the women. And to fuck a really ugly fat nanny. Unseen dimensions. The sad truth is that hell will be filled with people that refuse to be saved. Some people hate life, and they hate the one that created it. That is factual. Evil does exist. That is one explanation we haven't heard a whole lot of this week, and it probably is the most truthful. That when it comes right down to it, putting sociopolitics aside, there's just some evil bastards in this world, man.
Absolutely.
There are just some evil bastards in this world. And when you look at some of the conduct of this guy on Discord and such, it's pretty clear this guy was one of them. All right. Let's see here. I get the impression that you and your panel believe the narrative of this shooting. Do you not have questions? Hi, Ian Carroll. Do I not have questions? Well, the day that it happened, we played all of the available video at that time of all the different angles. You could clearly see the guy on the rooftop. We have surveillance footage of the guy dropping from the rooftop. It looks like the same guy. Surveillance footage looks like the same guy. You can see the rifle imprinting underneath his clothing. He appears to have politics that are in accord with his original view. I mean, dude,
we have the Discord logs. He was talking about it.
And he's been given up by his tranny boyfriend. Guys, like, sometimes A is A. Sometimes the sky is blue. It is okay not to just assume that absolutely everything the government says is a lie. And honestly, is it even what the government is saying? This is stuff that we put together before the government even had an official version. You can watch our live stream. Most of what you are claiming now is a conspiracy wasn't the official government version of events at the time because, dipshit, there was no official version of events from the government yet. Trump hadn't even made a statement yet. Like, this is... I think some people are so open-minded, their brains fall out. I think that's kind of where we're at. Autonomous Prime, hear the words of communism. Destroy, tear down, take, subvert, burn down, seize. Communism to its core is destructive, envious, and covetous.
Correct. No lies detected.
Can I also talk about the conspiracy now of the guy with a palm gun in the crowd who is at the wrong angle to have shot Charlie Kirk?
Oh, come on.
And we have confirmed, and you can see from the video, that it is a large caliber bullet. It is a 30-06. That wound is consistent with a 30-06 round, by the way. I think a lot of you just don't fire weapons. First off, have you ever heard of a 30-06 palm gun? And second off, have you ever fired a 30-06 in full rifle form with a full stock to absorb the damn recoil? Do you have any fucking idea how much the damn gun kicks? The guy's hand goes, boop. You're a fucking clown! Jesus! What is wrong with you people?
A lot of these
30-06 palm gun?
A lot of these theories just come from people who've never even touched a weapon.
Could you eaten paste? Star Phoenix. Even the pets have guns? What is Cicero packing? Right. Cicero is the gun. Would the average funeral attendant be an accurate mimic of an NCR veteran ranger, Magnum BFR, and all? Let's hope so. Let's hope so. How do we get everyone to attempt an off-ramp? Ooh. You know, I'd be surprised if NBC weren't looking to divest themselves of, say, Seth Meyers. I think Norm Macdonald would piss himself from laughter if we get Seth Meyers off the air, don't you? Milo's back. These kids are in for a rude awakening. Oops. They don't remember 2016 like we do. While they were in school and too young to vote. Fuck around, find out. Oh, God. The Gamergate. The halcyon Gamergate Milo Yiannopoulos days, folks. Huh? Oh, I'd be wary of a Patriot Act 2 for Antifa designation, just actually using existing law and precedent, Rico Farah for Antifa, especially after Seattle mayor is using them for security. Godspeed. I agree. We don't need new laws. We already have Rico. So use the laws we have. Seeing people on Instagram saying it's been proven the dude's boyfriend wasn't trans is baffling. I haven't even seen what would have convinced them of that. I don't know. What convinced Jimmy Kimmel he was MAGA? He lives in Utah? That's what convinced them. Guys, have you been to Utah? It's a university campus. A university campus is a university campus. This guy was connected with the university. How else did he know about the rooftop and the vantage point? For crying, like, this is, guys, come on. Carsey Day, don't let the left write new laws. They will double speak that stuff. Candace Owens' stunt with the alleged Kirk text was basically taking Pam Bondi's terrible handling on the Epstein case, but put a paywall behind it. Oh, God, she did put it behind. I forgot she did that. Yeah, she apparently leaked texts with Charlie Kirk or his people or something, and she put it behind her own personal paywall.
Oh, my God.
What the hell, dude? That's rough. I don't get that. I don't get that. When Nick Fuentes, of all people, is telling you enough juice-burging is enough for one day, it's time to put down the crack pipe. Is he going to be the new face of the Gen Z right in Charlie Kirk's absence? No. No, he's not, because he's not as good at debating. He's not as articulate, and he doesn't have the capacity to organize the way Charlie Kirk did. And that's no slam on Fuentes, by the way. Charlie Kirk was just really, really talented. He was really gifted at organization. He was really gifted at debate, and he was a gifted rhetorician. That doesn't grow on trees, guys. There's very few people who have that level of talent, truthfully. I had my differences with Charlie Kirk. Like I said, he was Zionist. I'm not dispensationalist and therefore not Zionist. One of these days we should probably have a segment on one of these podcasts where we talk about the Lutheran view of eschatology that contradicts Zionism, but I'm not a Zionist. But Charlie, that didn't change that I saw the phenomenal talent that Charlie Kirk had, and more often than not, I agreed with him. Probably. Big Swing and Rich. I've been staying strapped always, and I'm in Surprise. Not a particularly bad part of Phoenix Metro, but who knows anymore? I carry my FN59. I'm pretty large and comfortable with this gun. But do you have any personal recommendations? Oh gosh, I like the I like a lot of what Steyr's been doing lately. You know, like their kind of Glock offshoots, M9A1, M9A2, those kind of I really, really like those. They're full-size guns, but they're nice and light. They can carry a lot of ammunition. They're a joy to shoot once you get used to the sights, because they have this kind of triangle sight. But man, I love the sights. They interlock perfectly. It's beautiful. That's one of the newer guns that I do carry. So that'd be one of my recommendations. You have one, Taryn?
For a concealed carry?
Yeah, for a carry gun.
Well, I mean, I don't actually have one, but
not yet. Yeah, you should have that. This should have been a wake up call for you, though. You better have one.
Yeah, good point.
All right, Wart 7. Got to be careful in the way we proceed after Kirk being killed. It seems to be that escalation of civil unrest could open more doors for groups like Palantir than they already have open. Stay strapped, stay strong, and be careful. Godspeed. Yeah, I mean, that goes without saying. We've made these videos before. Sorry, I was just reading this. If you blame the Jews 3 times, Candace Owens appears like Beetlejuice. It's gold. It's gold, Jerry. Gold.
With the white makeup on and everything.
Yes. Candace Owens. How can I make the tragic death of my friend about myself and the Jews? Right. I don't get it. Dark Warlord, who are we kidding here? Bill and Hillary don't share a bed. Hillary sleeps in a coffin for nostalgia's sake. All right. Is Erica Kirk the next Olga of Kiev? Dude, Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. She is, I was watching a podcast once, a Charlie Kirk podcast once, and he was talking about how his wife was more conservative than he was. So sleep tight, Antifa.
I hope she goes scorched earth.
Yeah, you made a pretty powerful enemy, I have to say. And she's no dunce. She's no dunce. The thing I hope is that she is able to find a figurehead other than herself to be like the point man, like someone to do the Charlie Kirk thing and go out to the campuses. Because I don't know that that's her gift. I don't know that it's not her gift. Wasn't she like a pageant queen or something before all this? She was like Miss Arizona or something like that, I thought.
I mean, I can believe it.
Yeah, anyways. So, like, I hope that there's somebody who is ready to fill that gap. Like, somebody who can actually do what Charlie Kirk did a little bit. Don't necessarily have him take, Charlie Kirk's place in the organization, but have him actually be the point man. If you have to hire somebody to do that, maybe somebody with cachet, maybe a Matt Walsh, maybe that kind of a person. Although I don't think there's no indication Matt Walsh is anywhere near as good at rhetoric or whatever. Remember, Candace Owens has never not been a psycho leftist. She started her career by running a doxing site to monetize getting conservative civilians lynched. She married a lord after a couple of weeks of Zoom calls. Well, that I don't know. I'd prefer to keep personal life stuff off the table because we have her actions to indict her on. We don't need to worry about anything else. But I do think that her identitarianism from her leftist days has been preserved. It just moved in a different direction. She went from blaming Whitey to blaming Jews, I guess. Israelis. Virtual Super Soldier. I think Turning Point USA should sue Kimmel like they did Alex Jones. Same damn thing. But hey, Razor, can you design more shirts? I am way behind the curve on making new shirts. All right. Look, what can we hope to come out of Irina's passing? I would like a society in which we don't have to live in constant fear of meeting the same fate she did. God rest her soul. I want our cities back. What can we hope to come out of Irina's passing? Do you have any thoughts on that before I throw my 2 cents in?
I mean, I stated this last week, but I'll repeat it. Reopen the asylums. We need to, there are a lot of people who are on the streets, especially in places like LA and Philadelphia, that are just in desperate need of mental health. Yeah. Mental help. Fentanyl zombies, fent zombies, just standing there looking half dead. This shouldn't be happening in any American city.
Let's pair this with the Charlie Kirk thing. Charlie Kirk, I actually disagreed with Charlie Kirk before he died. It wasn't like I dunked on him or anything, but you guys probably saw this tweet just a few days before he died, actually. He posted a tweet about the Catholic school shooting saying, supporting like a new law to ban trans people from owning firearms. And I quote tweeted, again, it wasn't like really disagreeing. It was more like, I don't know, adding on to where I basically said, hey, mentally ill people already can't own a firearm. Making a joke about how trans people are mentally ill, right? But that's a good case of what I'm like talking about here. If we properly designate people with gender dysphoria as having a mental disorder, which they do, then we don't need a new law, right? I kind of look at it that way with what happened on this light rail with the poor Ukrainian girl. If we were properly applying and evenly applying the laws we already have on the books, we could not only use those without making new laws, we could probably get rid of some old ones. And I am all for that. I don't know about you, but that is more what I have my eye on personally. I swear I've seen more Crusader memes this week than I have ever before. Indeed, as have I. Kimmel hasn't been funny since Ben Stein's Money. That brings me back, bro. Disney trying to switch sides makes sense. Who would want at your parks family? Who would you want at your parks? Families or creepy Disney adults, swingers, and fatties? That is a good point. Oh. What do you think of the fat boy for a first bike? A little big? A little big? Maybe. I always worry for a first bike going a little too big. I made the mistake of getting a little too big of a bike for my first one. But, only you can answer that. You should be taking motorcycle classes and stuff before you ride anyways, so you can feel out different motorcycles. Usually they'll have different models of motorcycle for you to learn on, and that'll tell you if that's what you're referring to. So, and thank you for joining us. Trying to wrap up here because I wanted to make this a short one, but my goodness, you guys are absolute madmen. Carl Philip Gabler, of course, guys, we do stream tomorrow night for Razor Fist Arcade, so none of these super chats go away if we don't read them here tonight. I'll probably read maybe 5 more and then we'll wrap up. We have quite a few left. So the term cancel culture is so lame, as if we're complaining that boycotting is too mean. I'm against punishing people who didn't do anything wrong, and these people clearly earned it. Exactly. This is retaliatory action. We have to understand that they chose the playing field. They were fine. They were perfectly fine playing on that playing field for the last 15, 20 years. And now all of a sudden they're losing. They're getting stomped like a narc at a biker rally. And we want to change the rules. Bullshit. The game is currently in progress. We have not played till the 19th inning, until the 9th inning, 19th inning. Till the 9th inning must be new baseball rules. Bob Manfred, you bastard. We haven't played to the final inning yet. So let's actually close this damn thing out. Let's end the threat. And then let's move on to other orders of business. And yes, one of the first orders of business should be shrinking a lot of this bullshit. Like, we don't want to hear about speech codes from Pam Bondi. I'm sorry. And I've been encouraged by that. I think that's good. Hopefully that tempers some of the response here to what happens. The fact that people are actually criticizing Pam Bondi for what she's been saying. It's an indication to me that MAGA is not all about just shutting down free speech to pwn Jimmy Kimmel. It's insincere to suggest otherwise, too. Adam, people don't know how crazy Utah is. I've been to all of the lower 48 and western half of Canada. The only truck stop I've ever seen with a memorial for a security guard killed on duty is in Salt Lake City. Yeah, I mean, look, even the reddest of states have blue pockets. And I find in really red states, the really blue areas go barkingly batshit insane. Do you not, Taryn?
Oh, yeah.
Man, you came from San Antonio. I'm sure you could talk about Texas cities that are nuts. I mean, look at Austin. Texas, bastion of red conservatism. And then Austin is like crazier than California, right? Here in Arizona, we have Tucson. They're completely insane. We have Sedona. They're absolutely nuts. Flagstaff, it's kind of purplish, arcing toward blue. But dude, even we have really, really crazy blue areas. That just happens, man. It happens. What do I think of the FBI? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's just the nature of cities. What can I say?
Yeah. What do you think of the FBI's performance in this situation? I thought it was kind of cringe. They took credit for getting the shooter in custody when we know he turned himself in by his family.
At the behest of his father.
Yeah. I don't know. Did they have any leads on him? That's the real question. Was he... We never did. I have to say this, at least at a bare minimum, we never heard the phrase, he was on our radar.
That's true.
Whatever else you want to say about the FBI's performance, that does commend them slightly more to my trust. I don't know about you, RazörForce. I had it up to 9 feet above my head with that bullshit. Every single shooter, he was on our radar. Come on, dude. He was on your radar. He was operating your radar, retard. Shut up. Church service last Sunday was packed on account of recent events. Stay safe. Stay strapped. I got to tell you guys a great story about that. So my pastor did some work with Charlie Kirk, and he was involved a little bit in Turning Point, attended some events. His daughter was even more involved in Turning Point. So he wanted me to help him record a message. to commemorate the passing of Charlie Kirk. And so after he was done with the service, he was like, okay, I want you to go aside. We're going to talk about this Charlie Kirk thing. I have to deliver a message. I have to put into words what's going on, bring some comfort to people who are hurting during this. It's great. So he takes me aside into his office, which not many people have seen. And he's getting ready to sit down. He still has his vestments on because he's a Lutheran pastor, right? They do the full vestments thing. And of course, under the robe, you can't see, right? It's just a great big robe. He's about to sit down and he catches himself. And he's like, oh, shoot. He reaches behind in his robe. He whips out a freaking H&K. He freaking takes out the mag, just racks it to take out all the bullets, freaking lays it on the counter, and then sits down. And I'm like, it was at that moment I knew I had found my church. It's freaking fantastic. My pastor can't sit down in a chair because he has to take out his concealed carry weapon first. Godspeed to my pastor. You know who you are. It was freaking great. And his video turned out really, really well.
God has mercy. I don't.
Dude, he was talking to me about like, hey, me and some of the other pastors, associate pastors, we have a plan if there was ever a shooting. Like, I'm going to make myself a target. I'm going to draw the guy's fire and they're going to take the guy down. And like, they've literally walked through it. They've got a whole plan. So I'm just like, geez. Oh, what a base. I'm like, I found the exact right congregation for me.
Vaya con Dios.
Is Milo now the leader of the 6th house? Indeed. Godspeed and Godspeed to Milo. We love you. Oh, I'm ashamed that it took Kirk's life for me to renew my faith. I want to be a better Christian. I want to be a better man of God. Rest in peace, Charlie. Hey, however it happens, brother. And you know what? Nobody gets out alive. If Charlie Kirk had to go, and we all do, I know it would probably bring him comfort to know that his death brought so many people to the feet of the Lord. I know he would have felt strongly about that. I don't even have to know the guy to know that. That's obvious from his talks. Crazy story, dude. I did get to attend AmFest last year. He closed out his remarks with like a sermon.
Really?
He had been talking about, because it's a big victory party, right? For Trump having won and whatever. And dude, we're all wrapped up in this fight against the left. And we've just struck back this huge blow again. Anybody who went to AmFest last year knows what I was talking about. He ended his remarks talking about, substitutionary atonement and whatever, the most important decision you can make in your life is giving it to Christ. This is how he closed out his speech. It's like, geez, just so based, this is why, I occasionally had differences with Charlie Kirk, never like with Ben Shapiro, never like with Fuentes or whoever, but I didn't always agree with the guy. But man, when I saw clips like those and they would periodically pop up on social media, I gradually realized like, oh, this guy's actually the real deal. Like he actually feels passionately about his faith, if nothing else. I never got the sense that he was insincere, right? You get the sense of a grifter from 20 miles away in this space. The person who's all out for engagement bait, and as long as people are talking about them, that's good. I never got that sense with Charlie Kirk. I never really did. He had his goals. He was going to get to them. He was going to network however he did, and whatever alliances you might disagree with that he might have made. I mean, it was what it was, but I get the sense he had a very definitive purpose, and he had at least some kind of guiding principle driving him in that direction. But Godspeed and good luck on your journey back into faith. And thank you for joining us here on the RazörForce Offensive. This has been a blast of an episode. Yeah. Is that the pastor you accidentally streamed? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I also accidentally streamed part of the sermon of my pastor. I left the stream key from when we had done the Razor Fist Arcade. So my channel was accidentally 1,000 times more based on Sunday.
Before we leave, let's read a couple of big ones. Christian Thurber, thank you for that 50. A little break from the real world. Thoughts on DS9 with Terry Farrell's departure? Seems they tiptoe around the details. Also, do you think the show handled it well?
Yeah. I got the sense, and I have heard this story, I have heard the detailed version of this story. My understanding is Jadzia is like her actress, Terry Farrell, was pushing for the actors to get a pay raise. They were heading into the final season, and she figured, oh, we've got leverage and our contracts are up. So she wanted to stump for a pay raise for the whole cast. And she kind of had talked to some of the other cast members, thought that they were on the same page with her. Like, oh, you know, hey, I'm thinking about running this up the flagpole and getting a pay raise here on DS9. What do you think? We're headed in the last season. They really need this last season. They can't end it without us. So what do you think? And she thought they were on board with it. They get to the end of the series or the end of that season, and she pushes the matter, and the other freaking cast members did not go to the line with her. They didn't back her up. And so she wound up being all out there on her own, pushing for a pay raise. This is my understanding. And so they were kind of like, you know what? We can write her out of the show. Whatever. Later. So that was kind of what happened. She kind of had a disagree. And my understanding too is that it had a lot to do with, was it Michael Pillar? Like she wasn't seeing eye to eye with Michael Pillar. And there were also some disagreements about the direction her character was taking, too, which I have to agree, dude. By season 6, man, Jadzia was just an appendage for Worf. Don't you think?
We pretty much agree on that. When your character becomes an accessory for another character, like the character's entire world revolves around the significant other.
Yeah. It sucks because I really like the character of Dax. She's like one of my favorite characters because I like the idea of the Trill symbiont and her having all those different lifetimes and all that's like, I think that's cool. I think she's one of the cooler characters on the show. Like when she worked, she was a really neat character, but like, it was just like, they were always adjusting their direction with her. They never quite could figure her out. And then Ezri comes on the show and they figured her out right away. I way prefer Ezri Dax because it was like they knew exactly where they were going with her. To me, she was kind of what Dax should have been to begin with, sort of unsure of herself, because that's where the character works. It's not being the old man who's good at everything and understands everything and is wise beyond his years. It's having this mousy little girl who has 9 lifetimes in her gut, all this memory, all this knowledge, and is still making a mess of it. She's relatable, right? She's a way better character. So anyways, the left deserves the boot heel. Godspeed. Your thoughts on the situation in Nepal? I haven't looked heavily into it, but I like the sound of boofing the commies. I have to say, the little Cliff Notes version of it, I have to say sounded okay. But I haven't looked into it heavily, so please don't hold me to that quote as like a sovereign matter of policy.
Or recently. Like, we don't know what's going on past few days. We only mentioned it last week.
Yeah, exactly. Vids of Doug W. Every commercial break on ABC for months has been promoting Kimmel on Millionaire, and he's had consistently worse ratings than Colbert. He was going to be axed regardless. This is a convenient excuse. No kidding. You remember like that 5-year period where YouTube was shilling the Kimmel show like it was oxygen? Like every day you signed into YouTube, Kimmel clips, Fallon clips. But like Kimmel was really, really shilled hard on YouTube, and it did nothing for his ratings. Absolutely. It didn't even do that much for his YouTube channel, honestly. It's just, it was so astroturfed. It's underperformed. He's got demo problems, fundamentally. He's supposed to have a young audience, and his entire audience is like retirement age. It's wrong to say the dad took all the credit. Cash said he released those videos against FBI normal procedures. That led to the dad seeing his son.
Okay.
The FBI's released video alerted the dad that it might be his son. I see. Well, that makes sense. And we'll do, one or two more, and then we're going to have to wrap it. We still have quite a few to get to. I hope you're able to handle that tomorrow. Palantir is not the massive threat people think. Your medical records are all gathered, collated, and not protected. IRS, FBI, Facebook, Twitter, etc. all have profiles on you, and all have monetized you. And that's to say nothing of freaking foreign entities having access to all that information. I mean, China, geez. How much of our information do they steal through third parties? Pastor Gruber, I'm going to count to 3. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And that deserves a mighty Godspeed. When Alex Jones told you to stop smoking, you're lost. Thank you, Hung Nguyen, for closing us out there. Thank you, RazörForce, for joining us on this late night impromptu edition of the RazörForce Offensive. If your chat did not get read tonight, we will get to it tomorrow. For Terengel and Tactical Hobo, who's having all kinds of crazy internet problems, I am Razor Fist God Speed.